welcome to Alvarez Live. It's a pleasure to be sitting here in Tunesmith Studio in Nashville with our good friend Gareth Pearson. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing well, Dee.
It is awesome to be with you again.
Likewise.
Since the last time we saw each other in NAM.
At NAM in LA.
That was very cool. So it's taken a while to get this whole thing together, but we're actually here and we've been recording this afternoon. It was such a treat. This room it's great. I love this place.
It's got an incredible vibe.
It's so inspirational. I mean, I just instantly felt when I walked into the place, I was like, this is just, I would like to come and hang here, you know? Yeah. It's got a very nice, it's got a great vibe. So let's go right back to the very beginning, I think.
Let's do it.
When did you very first pick up a guitar? Did you see a guitar? Did your dad give you a guitar? Because there's a story about your dad.
Yeah, so like my dad's been a guitar player. I think he started when he was 9, and his older brother used to play folk music, go to folk clubs and everything. I think me and my brother were indoctrinated from an early age on acoustic music, good acoustic music. So I think the first time I ever picked up a guitar, it was my brother's first guitar when I was 8 years old. It was just not a very good classical guitar. It's like when the action is about an inch off the fretboard. Yeah. But I just figured I'd give it a go. My dad taught me a little finger picking pattern on it. And then as soon as I had a callus, I figured, oh, maybe this isn't meant to be. And then I just put it down and didn't pick it up again until I think I was about 13, because my brother was playing in a lot of bands and stuff, and I wanted to be like my brother and, you know, have friends within the music industry. I don't want to say music industry, I should say the music scene at the time, because we were all so very young. Yeah, I just looked up to him and wanted to be in emo bands. So my first kind of like guitar would have been this like Ibanez SG, but I barely played it. I learned a couple of power chords on it and how to throw it around my neck and catch it and do stage moves, but I never really took it seriously until I saw Tommy Emmanuel when I was 14, and that like completely blew me away, like what you can do with an acoustic guitar. So I would beg my dad. I was like, Dad, I want an acoustic guitar. And he never thought I would take it seriously, but I begged, and I used to try and pick up his acoustic guitars in the house, but they were like that was like sacrilege, you know. To him, these guitars, you just don't touch them. And my brother and I, we were even trained, if a guitar is on a couch or on the sofa, we don't touch them. We have to sit on the floor if they're not around for my dad to move them. So it's like we had that level of respect for his instruments. Wow. But eventually he let me play one that he kind of made himself, which was just like a cheap body and a cheap neck. But because I didn't hardly put it down, he figured, oh, maybe I'll get him an acoustic guitar for Christmas. However, he was still assuming that I would like kind of get bored of the idea of playing guitar. And because he loves a deal and a good guitar, he wanted to get this guitar for himself. Well, initially for me, for Christmas, but then 2 months later, he figured...
Because he figured that every Christmas you would get bored after 2 months.
Yeah, I'd have skateboards and scooters, and then they would end up in the garage.
Yeah, me too.
You know, and so he figured, you know, I'll get a guitar, and then within 2 months' time, it'll end up in his hands. So that's... but, you know, the plan backfired. I never put it down. I had so much inspiration and just learning simple Chet Atkins songs, Yairi pieces, and yeah, I was inspired for sure. Was
that the kind of music that you were listening to? Because that's kind of unusual for a teenage
lad. Especially from Cwmbran, South Wales. Yeah, I was listening before. I listened to everything really. Like my dad brought me up on good acoustic music, whether it's again like Americana, bluegrass music like Tony Rice, Doc Watson. And then there was like gypsy jazz music playing all the time. English folk music was always on in the house as well. He was a huge Leo Kottke fan. So I was like raised on that. Then my mum loved just good, like whether it's like Motown music or just great, I don't know, like that kind of stuff. Then I was going to church, so I had like gospel music and hymns all my life. And then my brother, he was always looking for the new kind of music, like scene music, so to speak. So I was listening to a lot of emo, pop and punk music. So that was all up until I was about 14. discovered Tommy Emmanuel, and then as he was talking about his influences, he started talking about Chet Atkins.
Right.
So I went out, got a Best of Chet Atkins album. That just completely blew me away. Like, the first track I heard was Mr. Sandman, and I realized, oh, all this music is so familiar. I've been brought up on this music, whether I'm hearing it in movies, on adverts. It's like the soundtrack of your life if you're listening to Chet Atkins music, because he arranged all these popular songs that are so familiar. I figured, oh, I want to learn how to play these songs in this style, and it's very accessible too. It's not as if you're learning a completely new crazy technique. Once you figure out the format of how this works, you can apply it to all different styles and different songs. So I kind of picked up on that fairly quickly. And, you know, whenever Tommy Emmanuel was in town, or like in a 3 to 4 mile radius, my dad and I would go to his shows, and I'd be in the front row just in awe of someone who just does this very well. That's all I did, really. I took my guitar to school every day, and I would play it in between lessons, during recess. Yeah, half the time I would skip school too. Oddly enough, my parents were quite supportive with that, if I was ditching school and playing guitar at home.
Because you were so super focused on that.
Yeah, and I mean, they were very like, get your education.
Yeah.
But it was just, they could see I was staying out of trouble the more I was playing guitar. So
that's fair enough.
They gave me a lot of support.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So then, was there a move to America shortly after that, or was there a period of?
So if I was to say, after I left school, I was about 16 years old.
Right.
I started just doing gigs here, there, and everywhere, because I was already like gigging quite a lot during high school. You can see I'm Americanized. I'm saying high school. Back in the UK, we call it comprehensive school. But yeah, I was like gigging maybe 2-3 days a week, playing, whether it's like open mics, guitar clubs and folk clubs. I was just loving doing all that. Again, like opening as well for people that my dad used to listen to. Yeah. Back in the day. So it was amazing going out and exploring that world. And again, I'm like the only kind of person my age doing that.
Of course.
So it was a good learning like area to learn as well. So
was it kind of like folk festivals and
exactly,
yeah.
And but I left school, and then I just decided to go all in on playing guitar, just living everywhere and everywhere. Like it's a little bit of a gypsy lifestyle. I'd always come back to Wales and you know, crash at my parents' house, but it was a matter of I just enjoyed traveling. I actually would use Canada as a base for the longest time. I was like in Quebec City while working in Canada and in the States. So that was kind of between my early 20s to mid 20s. And then I moved to Canada for about 5 years, or maybe 5, 7 years, I don't know, I can't remember now. But then I moved to the States in 2022.
Right.
So I was in like Hoboken in New Jersey for about 6 months. Then Tommy took me on the road to play some shows in Florida. And right after that, he told me, you should move to Nashville. And not just him, but a few other people were like, you need to move to Nashville. And I was just taking that as a sign, I got to do this now, because this has been on my my dream wish for the longest time. So, and now that I'm here, it's like everything just makes sense.
So you're gigging a lot then? I mean, when we met you over in California, you were gigging the sort of West Coast, weren't you?
Yeah, that was the start of the tour. So I came over to LA and I was at NAMM then for a couple of days. And then I did about a West Coast tour for, I think it was like a month and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that continuing now? Are you just gigging all the time, or have you got little stints, little tours? Or?
Yeah, I'm doing stints right now because I feel like I'm still building up my career here. I don't want to get overly ambitious. So as soon as I finish that tour, I kind of said to my manager, I just want to take some time off and create a new album and work on some new material and stuff. So that's what I've been doing now.
Yeah.
But I'm back out now in about a week, something like that. So 2 weeks.
Is an album finished, or are you?
I got half of it done.
Great.
I'm hoping to finish the rest of it within the next 2 weeks.
Amazing.
And yeah, I mean, over the last so many years, I've been compiling so many songs and tunes and arrangements.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now is the time to start releasing some stuff. So
amazing. And you've been on the compilation of the We Still Can't Say Goodbye?
We Still Can't Say Goodbye, yeah, that's the musician's tribute to Chet Atkins.
Which is just a who's who.
Yeah, pretty much.
That must have felt like a real honour to be included in that.
Yeah, so I was initially going to be a part of the documentary to promote the album, and I was going to be playing a song with Tommy Emmanuel from his album with Chet Atkins called The Day the Fingerpickers Took Over the World. And yeah, we were doing, we were going to do that, and we did it at the Ryman Theatre.
Great.
And
the Ryman Theatre.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
But then we did a little interview after that. Carl Jackson is the producer of the project. And as I was talking about what Chet meant to me, he let me know about this is going along with an album, and we'd love to have you play on the album. And I was like, I'd love to. So again, that's what Nashville does. You come here and you get these kind of opportunities.
Yeah, of course.
So I said, yeah, let's do it. And I said, when do you need me? He said, tomorrow. So I had no time to prep at all. So I went there. It was a fairly early session, like 9 o'clock in the morning. I just walked on in, and yeah, I played Mr. Sandman. I did my tribute to Chet was kind of like his arrangement of Mr. Sandman, but I arranged it in a very particular way.
But the first song you ever heard?
The first song I ever heard Chet play was Mr. Sandman, and they had me play that on his album.
Wow.
And then there's a band that Carl kind of formed. It's called the Chester Bees, because his name's Chester Burton Atkins. Mm-hmm. So they call it Chester Bees, and like everybody who's on the album then plays Freight Train and takes a solo on it. So amazing. That's how the album ends.
That's incredible. Are there going to be any live shows from that? Or
I'm not quite sure. I don't want to speak, but I think they're doing a tribute at the Ryman, and I think they're going to do something at the Opry as well. Yeah.
Wow, what a treat.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic. Well, listen, wish you the very best of luck for everything, and thanks so much for doing this. We've been...
I appreciate it.
It's been great. Just had a couple of days here in this great space with you. So listen, my pleasure.
No, my pleasure.
Thank you. Cheers.